Welcome, everyone. This is Coffee with a Founder. I'm Beck Bamberger, and I talk to founders basically all the time, every day, and so forth. And I am one. And the reason we're doing this little podcast is because it's a weird, wonderful world founders live in. It's crazy that they do what they do. It takes one to know one. You got to be a certain level of psycho. So we're here just to talk casually, more openly, like what's going on, what's in your minds, what's happening. And so far, we've had people who have raised, literally billions of dollars in total here. And that is no small feat. It takes a lot of money to change the world, at least so far, as so what we're seeing. So with us today, actually, Dan, where are you coming from? Where are you right now?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Okay, coming from Texas, all the way from Texas, is Dan. Make sure I get the last name right, Dan. Gnatkovskyy. Ski.
Yeah, that's good. Nice
Good.
try. Thank you, back. You nailed it.
Okay, good. Coming from Austin, he is a co-founder and CEO of Jome, like home, but with a J. Ukrainian born, Austin based, prop tech. We're going to talk about it. And you had a lot of experience in real estate before doing Jome. So first off, Dan, how would you say what you all are solving for in 60 seconds or less? This is a comms oriented podcast, as you know.
Yeah, sure. So here at Jome, we are on a mission to solve housing shortage and affordability crisis by connecting mostly millennial first-time home buyers with home builders in 17 markets across 7 states. And we're just driven by the mission of helping more people find a way to home ownership through new construction homes.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jome actually stands for the joy of new home. That's kind of that indescribable
Mm,
feeling that people get when they enter a new space and they start imagining themselves there.
mm,
And we just
mm.
want to turn that new construction home buying experience from commodity to into something that people think of like once in a lifetime experience,
Yeah,
something they can deeply enjoy, something
yeah,
that makes them feel happy.
yeah.
And yeah, and that's kind of what we're working on.
Mm. Speaking of feeling happy, like what an emotion to feel like, oh my gosh, this is my house. I bought it. I own it. I can have it. That type of thing. That is a unique experience that hopefully you get to have in a life, in your adult life, maybe in the US. Uh, okay, one of the questions I've been asking people just for funsies is just to see, and then we're going to get back to a little bit more of the digital platform you have. But like, what's your favorite emotion and why? Especially as a founder, perhaps.
Yeah, like I mean, I like probably as most of the people, I love feeling happy. like,
I know that's good.
yeah, so
Okay, but
happiness.
why? But why? I mean, it's obvious. Like, yeah, it's nice to feel happy, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what's
but
the?
also like I love the emotion of curiosity. I'm not sure if that's like the emotion or a feeling, but like I think that I very often feel happy when I feel curious about something, and I just
Mm,
continue learning more about the stuff that I'm interested in, and by learning something new, it makes me feel better and makes me feel happier. So
mm.
I
Oh,
guess
so I haven't heard someone say like it's looped to learning, which has to do with curiosity, which then goes to your happiness. Huh.
yeah.
Then you must be very happy as a founder because I'm sure you're learning stuff every damn day.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
think that's what's driving a lot of people to be founders. That you're like in this constant search of truth process that is pretty impossible if you're not curious about things around you and things that are happening. And like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just I think that it's like I see that with other people, and like what I've learned about myself, that I tend to match and connect really well with people who are also curious about stuff, and we're
Yeah.
just start talking about things that we're curious about and like learning more about each other and other things. But yeah, for me, that's probably like one of my favorite emotions, like state of minds, is curiosity.
So let me ask you this, because I'm thinking of just perhaps founders who like don't want to talk about DEI, don't want to talk about like that, like that, like they're not curious. Perhaps, do you think there are founders who are not curious?
I think it's really hard to be founder if you're not
Yeah,
curious.
yeah.
Like almost impossible because in a way, like, I mean, because you're going through the founding journey of something,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be deeply curious about how things may work and what can be better. And that's the constant, like, mind racing games, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I I think that almost every founder, probably most of the founders, they're really curious. And sometimes I think that there are things that people try to convince themselves that they don't want to engage into being curious about
Denial.
something,
Mm-hmm.
or just go deeper into some topics. And I think that we've seen that a lot. In the current political cycle, but like
Mm-hmm.
pretty much in every cycle, we see
Yeah.
something that, like, when people stop talking about something or being curious about something, because it just kind of may have different effects.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that
Hmm. That seems like
curiosity.
a good poll to put out there. Like, what's the curiosity? I'm interested in like our founders, you know, two standard deviations in curiosity. Like, would you over-index, and by how much on a quantitative level? You know, the curiosity component versus maybe a data-centric engineer type. Although, you know, data engineer people are founders sometimes or whatever. But like, ooh, you know, like what's the curiosity factor there? Anyway, something to find. Okay, one thing I wanted to ask you, Dan, which is unique to you, is you're Ukraine born. You're here in the U.S. How you doing with everything going on? I don't know if you want to get into this, but how do you, you know, run and build this company? Whereas, you know, back home, you're in conflict, you're in war with Russia. Does it even weigh on you? Where are you with that? And I know there's a lot of Ukrainian founders here in the States.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, I think that, like, a lot of founders are in a constant stress mode. If you're a Ukrainian founder, you are just basically you having more triggers, more things that are causing stress.
Mm-hmm.
We're also have quite a few people in Ukraine, engineers, people
Yeah.
who like work with data quality, and that's stressful. And I would just
Mm-hmm.
like say that, it's kind of an emotional roller coaster, right?
Mm.
Like, I really hope that by the moment that this episode airs, like, maybe something will change, and things are
Yes,
changing all
gosh,
the time.
yes.
But
Does it, let me ask you this. Is it um, does it help you as a leader?
yeah, like, I think it helps to be more resilient in a
Mm.
way. I'm proud of being Ukrainian. I
Mm-hmm.
think that, like, just and I'm really proud of all of the Ukrainians in our team. And like, we have a lot of people who went through terrible things in 2022 at the beginning of the
Yeah,
full-blown invasion, and
yeah,
they're still going through them. And
yeah.
just, like, I think that when I see how people are basically stay resilient with all of the stress factors and actually continue to innovate, continue to be like, very creative and
Mm-hmm.
open to different opportunities, and stay, like, still, like, creating good things for the world, no matter how many bad things are happening to them. It's very inspiring. And I think that in general, like, being a founder requires resilience. If
Mm-hmm.
you're Ukrainian, you're, like, a bit extra resilient with a lot of other things. And I think that that's
Mm-hmm.
a positive trait to the
Mm-hmm.
for all of the people, like, and founders especially.
Yeah. Andreessen Horowitz came out with something from like 15 years ago. I was just Googling it from 2011, peacetime CEOs versus wartime CEOs. And it's like, you literally have the advantage of in your home country, you are in a wartime, you are in a war CEO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, just to think about
Yeah,
that.
I wouldn't. Yeah, like, it's still, like, I mean, I would give everything that I have to not be in that state, and
Yeah.
for invasion to never happen, and for people, like, never die, and,
Mm-hmm.
like, all of the terrible things that uh, like, my teammates, my friends, like, experienced. Like, I would give up everything to for this, for never happening. but
Mhm.
like we are where we are, and we just like need to learn to live with this and do our best to kind of either make sure that that won't happen again, or just make sure that as many people as possible will survive through this,
Mhm.
and that at the end we as people, as humans, will continue thriving. So
Let's hope. Yes, Dan. Alex Navalny's memoir, I don't know if you read it because he was eventually killed in Russia by the Russians. And it's an astounding memoir if you ever pick it up. I don't know if you have, but he just talks it like he's just not a prisoner. He has this whole like thing of like, in my mind, I am free. I am doing the things. I have sunlight on my face. I mean, it's an extraordinary book of detailing just how you can still be free in your mind and everything. And I was like, well, this is resilience with capital R on it. So anyway, for those reading inclined. Okay, Dan, what's the most challenging thing you're going through right now, would you say, from a business perspective?
I think in general, like one of the most challenging things for me right now and previously,
Yeah.
that's like being stress resilient, especially when
Mm.
things don't work as you expect.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that on the life cycle of the company, the pretty much like every next cycle and every next step decreases the probability that all of your assumptions are going to work out, and you have smaller and smaller share of the assumptions that work out exactly in a way as you expected that, and
Yeah.
drive smaller and smaller impact.
Yeah.
And basically I remember when I was just like at the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey,
Yeah.
I was hoping for the opposite dynamics, that basically you have to be right just once, and then when you write once in a big time, you're going to be right pretty much every time. But
Oh.
what happens, it's like the opposite. So you're right, and that's great, then you're right again, but every next time it's make more complicated for you to be right big time, because some of the things, they're just the complexity of the things increases, and that's becoming more challenging. And I think that just continue to constantly trying
Mm-hmm.
and find that constant improvement is sort of the challenge that I'm dealing with
Mm.
right now in many.
So, so would you even say that to get a wrong assumption to validate, oh gosh, I was wrong, is a test for, oh, you were trying something harder and harder?
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
think of it
Like,
in that
I
way.
mean,
Yeah.
constantly, like it
Yeah.
takes more tries. Like one
Yeah.
of the values that we have in the company is always try one more time. And I just feel that like I'm thinking about that a lot more often every next month and every next week. That just
Yeah.
like you have to try more and more and more and more, and that's part of the thing that like I mean I'm thinking of lately. But
Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, speaking of values, I'm on your page right here. Try one more time is on there. Put the customer first. Don't rush. How fascinating. You're a founder saying don't just go around break things, which is kind of now old in my opinion. But okay, don't rush and then educate the customer. How'd you all land on these four values?
yeah, like I think from our perspective, like I think that you're looking at our like about page or
Yes.
like the hiring page.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just like it's the things that were proven to us over time that they help us to create better product and create more value. And then the way how we think of our values, that basically there are moments when you don't know what kind of the decision you need to make and what is kind of like going to better, and you're facing some sort of dilemma. And in that case, it's really important to look back at the values and try to understand and use them to align you, right? So, and historically these were the things that helped us the most. So
Yeah, okay, good. Because I want to just read this for people who are listening to this. Like literally you have don't rush. We move fast, but we give you all the time you need. Fascinating because I could not imagine, like, I don't know any other founder in any other company where you'd be like, we will give you all the time you need.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it just probably from the perspective that sometimes, like, I mean, to make something really good, we have another thing which is like pursue excellence,
Hmm.
and we that's just what's been proven with our approach that
Yeah.
sometimes, like, in order to make things work really well and make them right, you just like really need to be constantly focused on making them the best way possible, and that's the part of where that's coming from.
Mm, I like it. This is refreshing. This is refreshing. Okay, you have a co-founder, Sophia.
Yes, yes, correct.
How are the dynamics with the co-founder? Because co-founders can be hard, it can be challenging, it can be fun. Thank God there's someone else, doing. How do you manage that relationship? Because some would argue that's more significant than a literal marriage, like in a financial traditional way.
Yeah, like I think that I mean, that's definitely like I think it really depends time to time, right? Like
Hmm.
mean, that's definitely the most important person in the company, and
Hmm.
basically that's when you work with a co-founder, like dynamic between two of you is probably the most important success factor, like in the early stages, but even when you're moving to the later stages, it's still like incredibly important. And I think that you just need to actively listen. You need to understand what person like wants to tell you, and then the same thing, you need to actively communicate, right? And you need to talk about things that make you worried, that you just like maybe sometimes frustrated about, and you just like always need to be in that open position and be
Hmm.
very open minded when you're communicating with someone, in order, because like kind of like on one hand you always want the same thing because you want the company
Yeah.
to succeed, and probably if you founded and started something together, you shared similar vision.
Hmm.
But what I'm seeing like very often, that we may have very different opinions and how we get there, and sometimes those opinions are really strong, and the ability to go through those differences and make sure that even when you have completely opposite opinions about the same thing, you still
Mm.
need to make a decision, and you need to accept the other person making the decision that you may not be fully agree with, and stand by it. And I
Okay,
think
are
that
you in the
just
agree and
like
commit?
that's the skill that is very important. And I want to be honest, I'm still learning that. I can say that
Aren't
I'm
we
mastered
all?
completely. But
Oh, yeah. So it sounds like you have an ethos of the disagree and commit, where it's like, okay, I can disagree completely with you, but yeah, okay, I'm going to commit to that. You're going to do that, that type of thing. It sounds like you all have that practice.
yeah, yeah, we may argue fiercely about something, and just like have completely opposite opinions, but at the same time, it's really important to come to just like the thing that you both
Hmm.
agree on, and just commit to something and stand by that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's your
yeah.
own
Yep.
decision.
By the
And
way, I don't think enough people talk about this, so I wonder if you want to get into like, how do you two argue?
oh,
Uh-huh.
that's an interesting question. Like
Is it in person? Is it like over Slack? Is it like like you have the baton, I
yeah,
have
like
the
I'll,
baton?
I'll
Like
be
how do
honest
you,
with you. That's
give me an
all
example?
of the ways. That's in person. That's over Slack. That's over Google Meets. That's over
All the
like
mediums.
that's all of the mediums, all of the formats, everything. Right. I think it's still very important to just like, I mean, set certain rules of like how do you argue, where is the red line, and like kind of,
Mm.
for example, the part is that do you continue arguing? Was there like other people involved? Because like
Oh.
basically you argue with that's okay to not agree on something
Mhm.
100%, but then it's still like some of the things that Sophia and I agreed on, that when we are going to a meeting with someone and we know that there may be certain misalignment between us, we make sure that we get aligned before that, so that we don't move
Oh,
that
yeah.
misalignment on the team, so the team doesn't feel frustrated and confused
Mhm.
with what is the decision and what is the right direction. But yeah, that
That's a
just
good rule. Yeah. Before we enter into this with the team member, we got to be on the same page. It's like mom
yeah.
and dad agreeing, like, okay, this is how we're going to parent
Yeah,
this
and
situation.
that's a very important piece. But then once again, you just need to constantly work on that. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
I think that the communication very often becomes like more. complicated, the more you have it. So if you're working with someone,
Mm.
just like you stay in the kind of like in the same setting and you just continue talking about everything, you're exploring, higher highs and lower lows, and you
Mhm.
just like, I mean, the volatility of your communication is getting to quite another level that, let's say, was the people that you think
Mm.
on a weekly basis or on a monthly
Mhm.
basis,
Mhm.
because it's just like a lot easier to keep everything under control when you have smaller number of communication rather like more communication. And then that just like
Mm.
requires a lot more work, and that's an active work. That's not the thing that you can fix through one conversation or through couple conversations. It's kind of the process that you need to commit to in order to make sure that it works. And
You're sounding like, okay, we're not just going to like ad nauseum talk for 8.5 hours constantly. Like, no, this is our time. We talk for 30 minutes here. This is like where we talk
correct.
about things. Oh, efficiency. Okay, I like that. Yeah, I think a lot of co-founding teams that I see is like they're just spiraling. They keep talking about it. They keep talking about it. It's like, oh my God, too much, too much. Go work for 4 hours, then we're going to come back to talk about X thing at this time and place. That can be very efficient for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Dan, anything else you want us to highlight, talk about, promote on our little coffee here?
Uh, I think I'm good. Like, it's for a good coffee chat. We should just
You
like,
were not good in the yesterday or whatever, so that's why we bumped this, which I love when you could just be like, hey, sounds like, it feels like we're not in a good spot. Let's
yeah.
bump. You were like, yes,
Yeah,
thank
you're catching that really well.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's
I
just
think you're a really good person to talk to because you just like instantly,
thank you.
see the person
I'm
through.
actually working on this, Dan. Like just feeling the energy, feeling the vibes of people.
Yeah,
Because you're telling me, like, we're all
that's a great
intuitive.
skill back.
And thank you. That's a great compliment. Oh, well, Dan, the founder and CEO, co-founder and CEO of Jome. It's like
Correct.
home, but the joy component of it. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, back. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for
Hey,
inviting me for a coffee with founder.
yes. Be curious, founders. You need to stay curious. That's the key to happiness. I think that's my takeaway from you, Dan. You want to be happier? Get curious. There you go.
Thank you, back.